Thank you. What I wanted to cut to the chase, because I told we would talk about this today, is and I want to give you an opportunity to sort of describe the work you did when you were counsel at the firm to Wuxi. Just for the information of everybody, Wuxi Biologics, the Chinese state media has dubbed it as the Huawei of China's pharma sector. So it clearly has deep connections to China's Communist Party and the state. So I want you to describe it. Basically, at the time, you were not a partner; you were a counsel counsel at the firm.
That's correct.
Okay, so just how did just if you could walk us through? I mean, I'm familiar with it. Maybe not everybody. How does that happen internally? How did you get the work? Who gave you the work? What was it? What did it entail? How much was it? That kind of thing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, and thank you for the opportunity to meet and speak yesterday. To the best of my recollection, the matter that you're referring to came to me through a partner at the firm who asked me to work on it. I was a counsel at the time, who asked me to give the kind of advice to this company that I gave to a whole range of companies for whom I did work while at the firm, which was privacy compliance advice. In short, how to comply with U.S. Federal and state privacy laws, that the purpose of which is to protect U.S. consumer data. I did that work in particular for companies that handled health data, given a specialization that I developed in our statutes, our state and federal laws that protect health data. And so that was the kind of advice that I gave to this company on this one matter. I don't think I had any other interactions with the company.
So this was somebody else at the firm, some partner's client, and because of your previous work, they asked you to help advise the client on how to comply with privacy laws in the United States regarding healthcare information.
That's correct.
How many hours did you bill on that?
This was under 10 hours. I believe it was 7 hours, 7.1.
Okay. And I also appreciate we did ask you about, in response to pre-hearing questions related to the current OD&I General Counsel's private sector representation of Huawei, you confirmed that you did not bill any hours in contribution to that representation while at the firm, but noted that out of an abundance of caution that you may have been part of an internal discussion related to a new or potential engagement for the company. Like I said, I appreciate your candor in mentioning it. Do you recall your contribution to that discussion?
I'm sorry, Mr. Vice Chair, can you just repeat the end of your question?
Yeah, so basically we asked you a question in the pre-hearing about the General Counsel at the OD&I when he was at the same firm representing Huawei, and you noted that you did not represent that client, but that you said that out of an abundance of caution that you may have been part of some internal discussions related to a new or potential engagement for the company. Do you have anything further to add at this point? I appreciate you mentioning that proactively in the questionnaire. I'm just curious whether you have any follow-up on whether that actually happened or what for Huawei.
That's correct, Mr. Vice Chairman. I tried to provide as much information as possible, understanding this committee's interest, but consistent with my recollection, the firm records that I've consulted show that I never billed any time to that matter.
Okay. One final question that I have is you've been serving as Chief Counsel to the Office of the Attorney General since the beginning of this administration. During your time in this position, have you been involved at all in any of the investigations into what's called anomalous health incidents that have impacted Department of Justice employees? Talking about the anomalous health incidents that have occurred abroad.
So I am familiar with the issue, of course, of anomalous health incidents or AHIs and how they have affected public servants across the government at a high level. And I know that this is a priority for Director Burns, for DNI Haynes, and that they are pursuing concurrently efforts to both attribute and understand the cause of the attacks and to ensure that employees get the health care and the services that they need. And that would be a priority of mine if confirmed to this position.
I guess, Mike, have you conducted or overseen any of the investigative efforts on it? Has that been part of your portfolio?
Mr. Vice Chairman, in my role as Chief Counselor, I advise the Attorney General on a range of matters with a particular focus on national security issues. But I'm afraid I can't get into sort of specific matters more than that.
Okay. Well, we'll follow up in the appropriate setting. But again, I'm not asking for the details of the matters. I'm simply asking if you have been involved in those and overseeing any of the efforts on that matter. It's a matter of public record that the Department of Justice is interested in the matter.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chairman, if I can just answer that question. It is a matter of public record that the department has taken its own action to ensure that it complies with directives to appoint people internal to the department to handle complaints appropriately. But sort of, I don't have much more to say about the department's own handling of AHI matters. I'm not aware of further action that it's taken publicly on that.